What up, homeless jabroni, the jabroni god. Took a little bit of a pause there. I don't know why. I had a lot of coffee and I was just thinking about some shit. Anyway, here to do another jabroni one shot. Haven't done one of these in a minute, and I figure I'd spit one right at you guys. Today, this jabroni one shot's gonna be about One Piece. I don't think I've ever done a jabroni one shot about One Piece before. I have talked about it in my Jabroni Show podcast, but I've never actually dedicated a small little 15 minutes to the great One Piece War, to the homie Goda. I've never done one of these for that. So today is gonna be a first, and the topic of discussion for today's Jabroni one shot is: does the year of Sanji, as it draws further and further to a close, right now currently we are at chapter 872, as this arc draws to a close, did this progress Sanji's character? What did this arc really do for Sanji's character? And I'm here to say not that much. Listen, you could argue that could be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. I'm leaning more the bad side. I guess the argument for the good side is versus character development. We maybe didn't get that much development, but we got a lot of characterization, meaning many instances we've never seen Sanji in, we got to see a new side of his character versus something complete, like him changing and developing past a crazy event. So like there's that, for example, when he's having dinner at the Germa fucking HQ, and the servant girl, she gets her ass like yelled at by Nietzsche, and Sanji fucking wiles out. We it's Sanji. One, she was a cook. And that's two things right there. Like, Nietzsche was roughing up a bitch, and she's a cook. He doesn't like seeing food wasted, and he doesn't like. These are pre-established things. We know these things about Sanji. So, I would argue that this isn't really doing anything for his character. We know these things already. We just get to see it in a different skin, in a different setting. So, I mean, okay, you have this. You have that character juxtaposed against the other Germa 66 members. And, but the thing, I'm like, okay, alright, they're experiencing his character after a long fucking time. Okay, alright. But even still, like, I feel like that's not enough. Like, Oda was hyping this up. He said this was the year of Sanji. Well, 2016 was when this fucking arc started, Oda. But he said this was the year of Sanji, but I don't really feel that way. I feel like there was much more important things to be paying attention to, if we're gonna be honest. It was much more. A road poneglyph, a fucking what's this nigga name? How could I forget this nigga name? Oh my god, how could I forget this motherfucker's name? Brook. How could I forget your name, Brook? I guess you know what? I'm mad that I forgot. Anyway, we had Brook going up against Big Mom, and this nigga Oda cut away like he usually fucking does. Ain't the first time he cut away from big, crazy, important events. He skips over fights all the time. Sabo versus Fujitora, Akainu versus Aokiji, in the creation of Punk Hazard. This ain't the first fucking time this nigga is cutting away from shit. Let's be honest. But I feel like in that instance, it's like, come on, son, what are you gonna do? Like, I bet you it's gonna be when Brook his back is against the wall and he's having some crazy fight. He's like, oh, this is the attack that I used on a Yonko, and then it's gonna cut back and show that shit. I'm like, Oda, stop using that shit for dramatic effect, dog. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, cause it's like. Oda's a king of hype, man. He's the real king of hype. As evidenced in this chapter with 872, where Big Mom's just like, Kaido, you can never beat that thing. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, I digress. Getting back to my point. We just get to see Sanji's character in different situations and, you know, shit. And Reiju, she's just like, oh, Sanji, you're like the nicest dude ever. Leave us to die. And of course, he can't leave them to die. He goes back and saves them. And I'm just like, yo, we're learning nothing new here. The only thing, I mean, I guess you, and again, the good side of the argument would say, oh, this is for the Germa's development. This is for Judge. This is for Reiju. It's for them because they get to see and experience Sanji and be like, whoa, he's really nice. But I'm just like, yo, at this point in the game, who gives a fuck about that shit? Like, we need to see development. We can't like, we've known Sanji's character for how long now, my nigga? It's been years. How long has the 20th anniversary, my nigga? One Piece has been around for 20 years. We've known how Sanji is for years. Literal years of my life. So, what the fuck? Like, I don't give a shit if he's, like, nice. Like I knew that already. Like, I knew that. You haven't said anything new, Oda. You haven't done anything new. You know, they're like, I feel like there has to be some, and this is a shonen too. So the only way for him to really get some development out this arc, especially considering shonen rules, he has to get some sort of power up. My solution would be to give him a Germa raid suit. Now, the way Oda wrote this arc, the pacing was god-awful. I should do a whole show dedicated to how bad this arc was in terms of pacing. Because it was all over the place. 1 minute, he's speeding through activities. The other second, he's slowing it the fuck down to a crawl. I should do a list and like compose it and do a whole show dedicated to it. But maybe at a later date. But you know, like the way Oda wrote this arc, it would be sort of weird for the Germa to give him the raid suit. It would, I wouldn't see it, but for me that would be the only solution, because there's other things that Oda also loosely set up, like for example, when Sanji was fighting Judge, and they were like, oh, his like power level is off the scale or some shit, one of the Germa scientists. So it's strongly hinted at that Sanji is some kind of superhuman. It's strongly hinted at. Even though, as a child, he wasn't showing the developments of this. He wasn't showing the benefits of this. When he's an adult now, when you know, I think he's like 18 in the story now, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in that fucking age range. You know, like, now he's like, you know, fire's coming out his feet. You know, that shit's not explained. The only now, it's just now starting to make sense now that we see the Germa fucking shooting out lightning. You know, Nietzsche shooting out lightning, Ichiji shooting out fire, fucking Reiju, poison pink, she's fucking hitting niggas and poisons coming out. But the difference between that and them is, with Sanji, it seems to be like in his DNA. The nigga could just make fire. Like before, pre-time skip, he was spinning and then his leg would get mad hot, but now it's straight up fire. Fire's coming out of his legs. And it's to the point where Sanji's powering up and turning Super Saiyan and fire's coming out. So it's some whole other shit. And Oda, of course, is holding on to it like the fucking dick tease that he is. So there's heavy implications that his Germa fucking eugenics, you know, genes, like it's heavily implied that that has something to do with it. And I'm just wondering, like, yo, what is that? Like at the end of this arc, because maybe we got, like, I want to say 10 to 15 chapters left in this arc, if that much. I would say 15 is pushing it. I would say solidly we have 10, because it takes a day to get out of Topland. And they're already on the escape. Fucking Caesar Clown parted ways, took his heart and dipped off. Capone and his men dipped off. He's about to ride off to his ship. Straw Hat's about to go to their ship. And like I said, Topland, it takes a day to get out of, because it's a series of islands with Whole Cake Island at the middle. So they're out of there. Like, they're probably gonna have like one small confrontation or fight, and that's about it. Like, that's all. That's like, if Oda somehow drags this out more than 15 chapters, I'm gonna be very fucking pissed. And that podcast dedicated to why the pacing of this arc was so atrocious is gonna be a lot more longer. But I feel like the only way to truly solve this character development problem when it comes to Sanji is to give him a Germa raid suit. Like, it's the only thing. Like, but like I was getting into before this, I think the Germa raid suits for the other Germa 66 members, I think their power may be connected to the suit. It's really weird. Maybe that's not the case, because like I was referring to in that earlier scene where Nietzsche was roughing up the serving chef, the girl, and Sanji and Nietzsche had a little scrapple. Nietzsche, I don't think he had his raid suit on. It looked like regular, like, military clothes, but hey, you know, you never know. But, you know, Nietzsche was busting out sparks and electricity and shit. But I don't think he had his raid suit on. But yeah, like, I would say that would be something to give Sanji a nice power boost. That would, like, the way Oda's power scaling is already weird and ridiculous. You know, the fact that Mad Monk Uroj took out a Sweet Commander is still fucking nuts. Compared to like we don't even know what that nigga's been doing in the time skip, but you know, whatever. I truly feel that Sanji needs that fucking Germa battlesuit, because that's the perfect thing to take away from this arc. I think that would be the thing that gives, like, I think Judge would make some sort of that would be the best thing to like apologize or make some kind of recompense, you know, something of that nature. Like, you know, like Sanji barking at his dad and be like, oh, the only reason I didn't let you die was because I couldn't look Zeph in the eye if I was to laugh at you or let you die or some shit like that. And I'm just like, that's all well and good, but again, you heard me say this like several times within, you know, the past several minutes. This is nothing new. We know that, like, Sanji would probably suck a dick for Red Leg Zeph. Like, let's be honest here. Sanji would probably suck a dick. Like, dude. So, like, this is nothing new. Sanji's character has not progressed. I mean, he kicked Big Mom, and she's a chick. So, you know, there could be something there. Like Sanji has not progressed. If he has progressed, it's like arguable. It's arguable progression. Like, if you say anything that you could say is progression in this arc, I would be like, well, or I would be like, you wouldn't like. There's very little that you could say that I would just be like, I, you know, I can't say shit to that. That was actual legitimate progression. No, like, everything that you say or could argue that is progression in this arc, I would be like, nigga, but he already, it's never just a full-blown, yo, he didn't, like, yo, he reacted in a situation, usually he wouldn't react this way, but he reacted like this, and now he made a significant change in his character, and a promise to himself that he wasn't gonna do anything like that anymore. It's like, nah, it's not like how Usopp conquered his fucking fear during the time skip, his training in the time skip, even though in the fucking Dressrosa arc, niggas ran away like a scared little bitch from Trable. You know, even still, like, we know that Usopp went over like an insane amount of progression and character development during his time skip. Sanji, he made it his progression too, but like it was more towards the end of comic relief, because he was on an island of traps. So when he saw an actual woman, first couple times after he reunites with the crew, his nose is bleeding super duper hard. He's fucking fainting and shit. So there's that. But otherwise, dude, like he really hasn't made any strides. So what do you guys think, man? I'm done. I feel like I've been repeating myself for a couple of minutes now. So what do you think? Do you think that Sanji has earned a Germa battlesuit? Because I think the motherfucker has. Let me know in the comments below. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't give a fuck. Peace the fuck out, young Jabroni God. Have a nice day.